Okay, my beautiful JS, reading number 831. This is for you, my gorgeous lady. I'm going to spend a fair bit of time here, but I'm going to start here and work my way around for you so I can give you some better context of what's going on. What I really need to reiterate for you, though, is that that we talked about in our messages, that ethically and practically it's very difficult for me to get through to, I'm going to use initials instead of names for confidentiality. It's very difficult for me to get through to the kids, S and D and L, etc., to get through their energy, because I have to go through yours, so it kind of muddies everything up. And also, of course, because unless I've heard from them directly, I have that whole ethical dilemma about whether I can access their energy or not. So what I'm going to look at is how the situation impacts on you and some of the things that you can do to support them and to support yourself and your gorgeous man, D. Now, we start off here with this, and I'm just, well, I'm not surprised, but I'm thrilled to see this here. This is Heather, and it's in the position that comes from there that themes the whole of your reading. Heather or Ua is very much about love. It's about compassion. It's about partnership. It's about sharing. It's about communication. And with your whole family and with your partner, it's about believing in yourself and sharing and caring and loving yourself, but also giving of yourself to other people and allowing them to give to you. So often we tend to give to other people, but we shield ourselves from receiving love from other people. And you've learned that it's equally as important to receive as much as it is to give. So I'm really thrilled to see this here, because what it also does is tells me that you are in a fantastic position to be able to be, I guess, not just the matriarch of the family, although that you know, that is increasingly becoming the case for you, but it's about being in a pivotal position whereby you can influence other people in the family to be able to self-support. So it's about your contribution not being one of giving necessarily, but of being one of where you set up the environment where they can give to themselves. I'm hoping that kind of makes a little bit of sense to you. Over here we have 3 Ogham staves that talk about the last 12 months or so. They're themed with this one here, which is Aspen or Fien, and this is actually about fear. It's about worries, it's about concerns. What I'm hearing here, what the trees are saying to me, is that for the previous couple of years before that, you know, a bit of status quo happening. You know, there's always the odd worries and stuff, but it was a bit of status quo. But in the last 12 months, there's actually been a fair bit of upheaval. And there's been far more things that have concerned you and worried you than there were in the past. Fascinating here for me, trying very hard to keep my head out of you know, the logical, I know you and therefore this is what my experience says of you, trying to get rid of that and really listen to what the trees have to say and sensing you rather than knowing you, if that makes sense. I'm really pleased to see these here which kind of cement that. This here is gorse or on, and this is about, again, in the last 12 months, saying that actually it's been quite difficult to plan ahead in the last 12 months because the impact from other people, and we're going to assume in the case of your question the family, but also I'm being told about business contacts and health, I'm being told as well, has had an impact on your ability to plan for the future. Not just your health, but I'm being told there has been a couple of issues with I nearly said his name, your partner, D, your husband, the beautiful man, with his health as well. So there's been occasions when it's just been really quite bloody difficult, I guess. And so as a result of that, it's been really difficult to plan long term and see long term where things have to go. But what I'm really pleased to see is this one sitting over the top, and this is Queer or Apple. And this is very much about the balance that you have come to understand, which is that is between the need for money and tangible possession and the need to have a life that makes you feel purposeful. So whilst many years ago it might have been about fame and fortune, it might have been about recognition, it might have been about all of the stuff that on the surface was supposedly make you feel good, you know, a nice big fat bank balance and fame and all of that kind of stuff. But you've learnt, very much so, particularly in the last 4 or 5 years or so, and that's not what makes life worthwhile. And in actual fact, it's about doing things, it's about having experiences and living a life which makes your heart sing, that feeds your soul, and that allows you to live the purpose that is appropriate for you at this time. And of course that means that we understand that our life's purpose changes through our lifespan. So you've become very much aware that what's important in life is to have that beautiful balance, but also to focus very much on the core essence of who you are, so that you manifest the beauty within, as opposed to chasing the mighty dollar, so to speak. And for you, a lot of that is around faith, but a lot of that is around your need to support community. And that community may be family, but it may also be your religious family, you know, your church family. It may also be your customers and your clients at the business and so forth. For you, community is important because not only does it give you a place, but it also helps you to serve your current life's purpose. It's really important for you. In here we have Elder or Ruus, and this is in the position of what's happening for you, I guess, in life right now, particularly in terms of how you feel. And regret and even shame comes through here. Not shame so much for you, because you know that you always do the absolute best that you can, but regret in terms of, you know, now and again you have the niggly feeling about perhaps I should have done this, and should I have said that, and should we have supported them this way, and should we have done that? Okay, and you know as well as I do that that is a fairly empty emotion and thought pattern to have, because it just serves no purpose. With that said though, as a human being, and being a retrospective human being who also existentially looks at herself to see how she can improve, you will always have those thoughts about what could I have done better. And as long as you use those as learning tools and not as a way to, you know, down yourself and degrade yourself and abuse yourself, then they're okay. These are the ones that I really want to focus on, though, because these are the next 12 months or so. It's a bit of a mixed bag in here. I'm just going to go through each of these briefly, and then I'll kind of tie them all together for you. This one here is, it themes your next 12 months. This is really important, and I'm being absolutely hammered by the spirit of this tree and by the universe and the spirits at the moment who are saying this is really important, and if you do nothing else, please listen to this. Plan. Plan, plan, plan. This is pine. And what I want you to think about is, as an analogy, is a big forest, okay? And in the middle of that big forest is a really tall pine tree, very tall pine tree, and so tall that the top of the pine tree sits above all of the rest of the tops of the trees, okay? You have the capacity to climb up that pine tree and to sit in the very top of it. And when you can sit in the very top of it, then you can look at all of the trees around you. And behind you, all of those trees over there are your past. And in front of you, all of those trees over there are your future. So this is about not sweating the small stuff. Picking your battles, not sweating and worrying and expending energy on little things to worry about, but on making plans for the next year and then 2 years. I want you to focus on that, the next 12 months, 1 year and the next 2 years. Write down the plans that you want to achieve so that you make sure that you are in control. Really, really important. And it's important for another couple of reasons that will come up with, particularly around this one down here. I want you to get a piece of paper out with your gorgeous man, and I want you to write down the plan of campaign for money. How much money will be in the bank for each of the next quarters, you know, the next 3-month quarters for the next 1 year and the next 2 years. And that might be in terms of the business, but also personal finance. What is the stuff that you're going to own? You know, be that the car, be that shares in the house. What's the percentage of that? Again, really important when you hear what I have to say about this one. Also, what's your spiritual future? So I want you to think about and write down what is it that we need to achieve from our faith, and how will we support that and that support us. Where are we going to live? How are we going to earn our money? Write down about your health. What are the things in terms of health that you need to think about, and therefore what are the things that you have to put in place to keep yourself healthy and to avoid, you know, the crashes. So I need for you, Pine is saying, I need for you to have a written plan for the next 1 year and the next 2 years that clearly defines your goals ahead. And what that will do will be to enable you to focus on that and less on expending energy on worrying about stuff that's happening day to day, which is all about gorse, because that's what that's about, because you need your energy to think about things longer term. We have here, this is the downside to this lot, and this is Strafe for Blackthorn. This is about tears, it's about frustration, it's about unhappiness, and it's about you being upset about the choices that other people make, because we have Ash or Newen here. Now, what I'm being told is that much as you're aware of the fact that the kids are grown up and that they can make their own choices, you still try really hard to influence the choices that they make in a way that you consider to be appropriate. And for the most part, that is appropriate. And the decisions that you would want them to make are the right decisions. However, what these two, when they come together, are saying is that you've got to let that go and let them fall over and make their own choices. And what I'm being told is that S and D, you know, your daughter S and her partner D, I'm trying, as I mentioned before, to keep this confidential, even though no one else will have access to this video. If at any point access to this video was leaked, then I need to make sure these people are anonymous. That things are going to get a bit narky between the two of them on occasions, and it's really, really important that you do not get involved. Alright, let them have the narky stuff and just be there to support them, because that's what you do, to support both of them equally without taking sides, because you won't take sides anyway, and just be there. Now, that's not to say that you, this clearly shows that. That's not about saying to S, okay, well S, you need to do this, and to D, you need to do this. None of that at all. What these two are clearly saying here is that they need to be left alone to make their own decisions, and you just mop up the tears that will occur as a result. I'm really sorry that I have to, you know, I wish I could come back and say everything's going to be hunky-dory, but it would be unethical of me to do so. I need to be truthful. So your role in this, if you like, is that continued support stuff. So it's not about being the matriarch, it is about being the pivotal point of support. In terms of your beautiful daughter Elle, again I see some difficulties taking place there, and again you're just going to have to not sweat the small stuff and let it happen. Now, this one concerns me, and it's got relationships to this here. This is Lewis or Rowan, and this is about protecting yourself. This is important. As I mentioned here, if there are only one thing that I want you to remember, I'm going to change that and say there are two things that I really want you to remember out of this. The first is to make sure that you have a written plan for the next 2 years. The second is that you and D, your beautiful man D, must protect yourself. Okay? You must protect yourselves. Now, that means legally you need to make sure that your position in terms of the sale of any property to which you have contributed is legally safe. Okay? Really, really important. You also need to make sure that your funds for the business are safe. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that the business is going to go belly up, or that you're going to go bankrupt or anything like that, but I just want you to make sure that you keep a tight rein on the budget, because there are going to be some very difficult tight budget months coming, particularly around November and December of this year. It's going to be really, really tight. So it's very important that you take control of that and keep things in check. I'm being yelled at very strongly to say that the both of you need to take care of your health, physical and emotional health. You need to make sure that you have support mechanisms in place for both of you in terms of physical health and in terms of emotional support, because it's going to be really, really hard for you to remain hands off as you watch some of the narkiness that will occur amongst the kids. Okay, you're going to need to have people around you that you can trust, that you can just verbal vomit to about how you feel, so that you can help yourself feel better. That's for you and your beautiful man. In terms of physical health, though, I'm being told very strongly that the both of you need to make sure that you look after your physical health. That means eating appropriately, which you try and do, I'm being told, for the most part, but they're saying there are a few more improvements that you can put in place, and also that you have correct regular exercise. Okay, and they're saying that you tend to ignore that little bit, so they're asking you for correct indirect soft impact exercise for yourself. I'm not suggesting you go out running or anything like that, because that's not appropriate exercise for you. But nice soft impact, gentle but regular exercise is really important. And very important that you listen to your body. Particularly you, Jay, you need to listen to your body in the next 12 months, hear what it has to say to you, and if it's saying to you you need to rest, then you need to rest. Okay, so this is about protection of self. So what do we have when we put all that together? We have 12 months ahead where, I'm sorry, the relationships between S and D is going to implode just a little bit, the beautiful Elle and her partner are going to have some more difficulties, but it's really important that you be there to provide unbiased, a listening ear. That's all. Just a listening ear, they're telling me. No advice, no suggestion, just a listening ear. That's what they keep telling me. But that in so doing, it's going to be quite emotionally taxing for you. It's going to be really emotionally difficult for you. So you also have to have your network in place that you can get support from as well. That will come in part from your faith, but will also come in part from people that you trust as well. And there are only a few people that you trust that I'm being told. You've got a broad range of friends, but there's only a couple of those that you can really, really feel utterly 100% comfortable with. Utilize them. Okay, so I'm kind of, I know that probably didn't give you the answers that you want, and I'm sorry, but I have to deliver honestly what comes through from the trees instead of sugarcoating it, because you know, if I filter out all of the bad stuff and just give you the good stuff, then I'm not delivering an ethical service. So I'm hoping that is of benefit to you and gives you some more tools in your armoury for the next year ahead as a means of caring for yourself. And as a last little note, I want you to remember, love you heaps, gorgeous lady.